that some will enter in and some will not. Some will be saved and some will not. Some will be healed and some will not. Some will experience his truth and some will not. The basis of a person finding a destination begins with that person's decision about Jesus. Who do you see Jesus is to you? That is the basis of your foundation on the direction that you and I will go. In this life, our foundation on who we think Jesus is to us personally sets the groundwork, sets the foot soldiers, sets the foundation of the direction you and I will go for the rest of our life. Matthew tells us this, chapter 16 and verse 13. Says, when Jesus came to the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples a question, and he said, whom do men say that the Son of Man am? And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, and others Elias, and others Jeremiah, and some say you're one of the prophets. Jesus asked them that question to gain an insight on who they were listening to. And he asked you and I the same question to point out, who are we listening to? Who do you say Jesus is to you? And when they said that, he said unto them, now I understand what the public says about me. And now I perceive that you're listening to what they have to say. But I want to know from you, who do you say that I am? Who do you say that the Son of Man is to you? Simon said that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. I want you to understand why Jesus was asking this question, to gain insight, not that he didn't know, but he wanted them to understand where they are in him and where they are with him. And he wants you and I to understand tonight where we really are with God. And it depends on the direction that you're going in right now. And he said this to him, and Jesus said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed this, but my Father which is in heaven. Now this is important, that we know who Jesus is to us. Not what the TV evangelist says, not what the missionary says, not what the preacher says, but is who you say Jesus is to you. My children can respect the teacher, can respect the pastor, can respect the police officer, and that means something to me. But if they don't respect me, it means a different thing. So it means to God, you have to know who you serve. If you're going to serve God, then serve God. If you're going to serve the world, then serve the world. But you can never serve two masters. Because a master won't have you to serve someone else other than themselves. But God is love, and because he's love, he's allowed us to go away to be drawn back by his love. And he still gives us two choices. And you would never have more than two. Peter, who do you say I am? He gave him the answer, and Jesus said, blessed art thou. When thou know who he is, you will be blessed. When you know who Jesus is to you, you will be blessed. And he's saying to thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Peter wasn't the rock that the church was going to be built on, but Jesus said the revelation of who he is to Peter is the rock on which the church is built on. So the rock isn't Peter, but it's Jesus. And Jesus said, if he's the foundation, don't worry about the storm. Don't worry about the trials of the tribulation. Don't worry about the gates of hell, because it won't prevail against the church of the living God. And I want to explain to you that the building isn't the church of the living God. For you to be part of a living God, you yourself have to be alive. So the church isn't the part of the body of the living God, but you are the church of the living God. And that's why it's important to God that you know who he is and you know the direction that you're going in him. Peter, because you know this, because this was revealed to you by my Father in heaven, I'm going to open up revelation to you. I'm going to open up understanding to you about the foundation that the church needs to be built on. Why is it that so many churches crumble? Because the foundation is not founded on the rock. Anything in Jesus will not fail. For God is not a failure. He is always victorious. Now, not only does it give you revelation when you know who he is and know the foundation, but he also gives you something else. Now, this is important because he says here in verse 19, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Not the keys to the kingdom of the United States. Not the keys to the kingdom of Africa or Asia or China or Japan or the world. He said, I give you the keys to my kingdom. Now, this is understanding because you don't give your keys to just anybody. I don't give the keys to my house to somebody I don't know. And in order for you to get my keys, I got to know you. I got to know your character. I got to know your lifestyle. You have to think like I think so that I know when I'm not in your presence that you're not going to do anything outside of what I would do. So he said, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom because now I know that even when I'm not there, you're going to do the very same thing that I do. And I can trust you because I've given you revelation. The issue with two. Not only is he's going to give him the keys to the kingdom, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth, the power of having the keys. Whatsoever thou bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. What a revelation Peter got, and what great gifts that God bestowed upon him simply because he knew and understand the foundation of building on the rock. Let's look at this in another way. It is said that a sad thing has happened in our day, and the sad thing is that the vast majority of people believe that everybody's going to heaven. They believe that no matter how you live, no matter what you do, no matter if you even go to church, you're going to go to heaven. Regardless of what kind of lifestyle they live, anyone who attends church, no matter how worldly you may be, no matter how crooked you may be, no matter what it is in your life, when you die, they'll say you're at rest. Oh, he's at peace. The preacher would say a eulogy and give you some type of great accolades as if you live according to the word of God. But those who knew you know better. Those who understood you understand what kind of person you are when you were living and when you died. And they know whether you're really at peace or not. But Jesus wants us to understand there are two gates from which we have to choose our final eternal destination. Two ways, two choices, two classes of people, but we can only choose one way.